If I can't get him on the right, I'm gonna have to boot you out. I hope not. We're supposed to be able to do like 4 or something. Give him a couple seconds, see if he's gonna. Where the heck did you go? What? That's Mike. Hold on a second. Why is it not clicking him in the link?
At least you're getting the notification out, because I got a notification. So
At least I'm getting the what?
I got the notification that you were live. So
Well, right now my most important thing is trying to get him in here. I'm not sure why it's not working the way it's supposed to. And that says remove.
hey, Jamie.
This is like really important to me.
Technical difficulties.
Auto locate on.
It's just not. I get a message that you have added the map. Mike, you're going to have to cut off.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that.
What's his problem?
I think we got it now. Hey, finally.
Hey,
What
Rick, how
the
you
heck?
doing?
How's it going?
Going well. Carburetors are a little easier than computers.
Sometimes, yeah, they are. It's been for some reason we never had these issues, but tonight it just didn't want to. It just didn't want to work out. Finally, I got it. So how's it going, man?
Going well, man. Busy. A lot of carburetors out there.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people are forgetting about it a little bit at a time.
Yeah, a lot of the knowledge, especially some of the stuff I see online, isn't always accurate.
Figure we'll hang out a couple of minutes, see if anybody else gets on. Then we can talk a little about you guys and what you're all about, what you do. And I know Mike's here from Lone Ranch Garage. Jamie's here from Rusty Metal Garage. They're my YouTube partners.
Oh, nice.
This is Jared from Allstate Carburetor. You guys wondering?
How you guys doing?
I don't know. You should be able to see all our comments, right?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
neat. First time doing something like this.
Yeah, I know. It's weird at first. You can't be gun shy, buddy. If you are, you're in trouble. There you go. There's one for you.
Yeah. Nothing much.
That's Mike from Lone Ranch Garage.
Okay. I was kind of clicking through some of your past videos. I believe you did one with him, correct?
Yeah. See, what I usually do is I got a piece of paper here, and when I see something like that, I write down the channel with their name, so I don't keep messing them up like I always do. Anyway, come here, kid. Come on. Come here. Come here.
Got a little partner in crime.
The mascot. Sure, I like fishing when I get time. Mason, how's it going? Welcome to the Allgaiers Garage channel. What are you thinking, huh? Okay, well, you're going to wait later. She goes, motorcycling. She does all that stuff.
Just a ride along.
Hey, it helps, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes it gets, you got to just read the comments, and a lot of people start asking questions. Like I said, it takes a while. Some nights you'll have you can't keep up. Other nights, and it all depends what time. Like a lot of the other guys are on a certain time, so that's why I kind of picked 9 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah.
You guys do. Hey, there's Dennis, Twisted Mopar Garage. We got Jared on with us, All-State Carburetor tonight, Dennis. Y'all got carburetor questions. There you go. Let it rip. We got a few more people in here that we're gonna basically turn the floor over to him. We've learned what they're about, what they do, what kind of stuff they sell, fuel injected, carburetor, whatever they got going on. That's where we're at tonight. That's basically what we're gonna focus on. We're gonna talk a few minutes about the carburetor they're gonna do on my truck. We might even do a live thing up there. Jared and I are gonna talk about that, so you guys could actually see the procedures and stuff like that. And that could be the next month or so. We got to have the carburetor done by April for sure. So
yeah, a lot of time there to get it done and set something up.
9 people so far. Hey, Matthew. Thanks. Yeah, she's my motorcycler in crime. She does tractors. She does motorcycles. She does ATV, drag races with me. Does all that stuff. She'll get to meet her because she doesn't go anywhere. I don't go anywhere without her except work. So I hope you're not allergic to dogs. As long as you have puppy treats, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Dogs.
That could be anything from French fries to ice cream cones to,
Eats anything.
Pretty much. Oh, yeah. But yeah, like you said, I'm thinking to talk to you a little bit about that carburetor that I'm going to do, and I think that'll make a big difference on that truck. My engine builder told him that, you got to feed it. You got to feed it. Well, I don't. Yeah, you do, but not where I run it most of the time.
Yeah, refresh me a little bit on that build that you're doing.
That's was a 7010 carburetor on that goofy spread board.
Yep.
And like you said, we're trying to squeeze every last piece of fuel mileage out of that 460. It's a brand new motor, a little bit higher compression, tow and cam, Cobra jet heads, all the neat stuff. And said basically, I never need the 4-barrel. I just don't. I have a 600 on it now. But when I do have to actually open it up, it needs more on the backside of what it's getting.
Okay.
So that carburetor should work beautiful.
It should. The way that carburetor is set up, it's got an 1.5 inch throttle bore in the front, so you get that good long throttle response. And the secondaries are kind of similar to like a quadrajet, where they're much larger. I believe it's 1.75 inches in the back.
Yeah, I think that should work good. Yeah, you're right, Dennis. They are always a discussion. That's why we're on with Jared tonight. As I said, y'all guys got questions? Let it rip. Don't let me stop you. Just interrupt me. You'll be fine. But I mean, I know we're changing the intake, going back to stock intake, because I actually had to open my idle feed restrictions up to like 38. I drilled them out to 38,000 to get that really light throttle without it carrying on and acting up. But it took a little bit of work.
Yeah, 38 is really large. I would take a look to see what the idle air bleed is there. It's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. All I do is I drilled the idle feed. I drilled the idle feed restriction down. At first, I think they were 28. I went to 31 and got a little better. Then I went to 35. When when you sat there or when you were light throttle, you get that but. Well, then it was at 37, it was gone,
Okay.
completely gone. I don't know much about the air bleed. I don't know about the air fuel rate, the idle feed restriction, and biggest CFM carbs you can use, Dennis.
Drag
What do you
racing,
have
that
on that?
makes sense. You want to get the most RPM out of the motor. You don't
Dennis,
care how
tell
the low
Jared,
end is.
tell Jared what you have. I even forgot what Dennis has, but he has a nice, I think it's a Darter. I don't tell him what you have, Dennis. A couple of these guys have a lot, we have toys.
Yeah, that's how it goes a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Around with this stuff, and you just enjoy working on it. I stick with my test motor. That's my big toy.
Which one is? I forget.
I got a 502 crate GM crate motor.
That'll suck down a 600 carburetor. Literally.
Yeah.
It'll suck it right in.
Yeah, it's only, I think the horsepower in the motor is only about 450. So I guess a proper size carb for that would be around a 750 CFM. But for as far as testing purposes, I run everything from like the 1-barrel ball and ball carters, up to 1,000 CFM 1050 dominators and stuff on there.
A lot of people don't understand carburetors. On engine applications, they just don't.
A lot of people see a bigger cubic inch and they just want to go bigger carburetor, and it's not necessarily always true.
There you go. He wrote it. He put down what he's got. That's a grocery getter.
Yeah, I'd say just around the block. Wake up all the neighbors. Yeah, it seems like a pretty healthy setup.
It's a pretty car. What's your I can't remember, Dennis. Is your Facebook page just like that or whatever? Just put it down there so Jerry could go on there and he could check it out later. I know he has it. Oh, he has his YouTube channel too. Allgaiers Garage. That's his YouTube channel. It's on there. That's why he said I always have a pen and paper so I write stuff down.
Yeah, I actually pulled one out when you said that.
But yeah, Allgaiers Garage is Dennis's channel.
Oh,
They're not Dennis, Mike.
Mike.
Yeah, Allgaiers Garage
I
is
thought I
Mike.
took my notes down wrong.
Dennis is Twisted Mopar Garage. I still get him confused, man. You try to hear me when I'm trying to do my outros at the end. See, something like that is one thing, but a lot of people like my engine build. One of my engine builders, I use Jensen did a lot of the bottom end, and another guy out west, Tara did the heads, and he's like, "You got to feed that thing." He's saying 780. Well, let me tell you, I put a regular 780 on. Like the old Cobra Jet cars, Mustangs. It was a pig, dude. It was a pig, like you could not imagine. There was the throttle response. I mean, it was there, but you could feel it. It was like I was dragging around 10 ton behind me all the time. And
Yeah.
gas mileage, we don't even
What's
talk
the
about
rear
that.
end gear?
410.
410, 12 gear.
It's got an overdrive unit with an automatic in it, but
Okay.
you can tell with the 600, it's happy. It's but I know I can do better. Like you said yourself, changing them boosters, it's going to be, but alone, it's going to be a difference.
Yeah. What were we talking about doing with the boosters?
We want to go with I started running a 750 Holly, moved up to a 900 Holly, then an 1150. It's not big enough. You should go bigger than that yet. Then you put two of them on it. No, we were talking about, because that has a standard boosters in it, and we're talking about doing the annual discharge in the front.
Okay. Yeah.
Everybody says that'll restrict it down more. I don't care about it. I want the maximum signal I can get is what I want. I could care less if it only flows 200 CFM through the front. I don't care.
Yeah. It'll be a good game playing with the jetting with that, just because of how tight the Venturi is at the top.
Right now, I'm running 70s in that thing with a 600.
Going with the 7010 and an annular boost, you're probably going to be down at like a 60 main jet in the front.
That'd be nice.
Going to be real small. just because that booster does take up room in the Venturi, so it cuts down some of the CFM.
That's
and it
fine.
also atomizes the fuel better, so you don't need as
That-
much of it.
That's fine. Like I said, I got 70s in the front right now, and the spark plugs are right where they need to be. So
Okay.
it's just that intake, the runners on that intake are like this. It's just, I should have put the stock one on it, but I didn't. I put a stock 429 Cobra Jet one. It's just, I think that's where my puddle, I get vacuum, I grade vacuum and everything, but you can tell with the throttle, it's like it's puddling in the intake. You know what I mean? It's just not. So we're going to switch with that carburetor, and I think that intake, I think that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, you're thinking about just keeping down leg boosters in the back,
Ye-
so when you kick
I
into
think
the secondaries.
that has standard boosters in the back. You think it'd make much of a difference?
I think going
Consider
with
I'm
the
not.
down legs, it'd be a smoother transition into the secondaries, and it would flow a little more air once you get into it. Just with the down leg boosters, they don't have the crossbar going across the center of the booster, so they do flow a little bit more air than the standard straight legs.
Yeah, because you did that up 700 carburetor for me on the T-Bird. That doesn't even have a choke on or nothing. And you put the down legs in it, and that thing on that little 302 is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. What do you say,
It- it-
Brian? Here, hold on a second. Dennis, 1250 on that little motor. Wow, that's pretty big, ain't it?
3 big block.
Yeah, he is running alcohol though.
Yeah, the alcohol help it run cooler. Uses a lot of fuel.
Oh yeah.
You get
Hey,
like
Modesta. How's
700
it going,
horsepower
Modesta?
out of that motor, going up to a 1250.
How much of a difference you think horsepower wise between those two? It's only 100 CFM. I was always taught that 100 is not a lot. In other words,
Um,
CFM.
Horsepower is really decided with what's in the motor.
Mhm.
And then the carburetor, you just have to have enough carburetor for the horsepower that's in the motor. So putting a bigger carburetor on a motor isn't necessarily going to give it any more horsepower unless you were choking it out beforehand. Yeah, I've had guys with a 600 horsepower motor. They come in, they got a 750 carburetor on it, and
Yeah.
that thing wants to breathe. We got to go
Mhm.
bigger. So going up to a 950 or something like that, it wakes the motor up dramatically. So that in that aspect, you'll gain horsepower, and a lot of times you'll gain RPM because with having too small of a carburetor on the motor, you're just not going to get the full RPM range.
No,
So
you're not. I was always under the impression, though, you're better off a little bit too small than too big because you can lose a lot more if you're too big. That's what I was always taught. But
for street driving, absolutely. Some guys on the if you're drag racing or going to the track, I wouldn't say go shoot for too big, but if you're kind of on the borderline of say an 850 and a 950, go with the 950 if you're going to be drag racing. But being too big of a carburetor on a street driven motor, or in a street driven car, you'll end up being all over the place because you're getting too much air going into the motor, and there's no way to. Some guys will call them. They'll say, I got a 750. Can you jet it down to a
I
600?
love that when they do that.
Yeah, and I can't change the amount of airflow moving through the throat of the carburetor. You need a
No,
different
you
carburetor.
can't. That
If you're
jet it
jetting it
down. I've
down,
heard that for years. That's just funny.
yeah, jetting it down, you can make it leaner, but you can't change the airflow going through it.
Yeah. And usually, if the carburetor is too big, you probably would almost have to put more jet to it because it's slowing everything down.
Yeah.
Like when you go from a dual plane to a single plane intake, look at the difference.
Yeah,
That could be
you lose
4 to 6
velocity.
jet sizes I've noticed on my stuff on front and back from single to a dual plane to a single plane.
Nope.
And my truck's a perfect example. Like I said, that factory, that 460 came with a 600 Holly. And for the most part, it actually works. It's just that with my extras and everything I've done, I notice when I actually do need the 4-barrel, which is very rare, there's not enough.
Yeah, there's even like a lot of the Ford industrial motors, and like they were huge 460 motors and stuff. They came with like 450 CFM 600s on them.
Yep.
Where they didn't have a lot of air going through them, but
Nope.
they ran well.
Sometimes you just keep going.
Yeah,
But like you said, I know the factory Ford ones come with annual boosters in the front. And like I said, my biggest thing is fuel economy, and I really think that carburetor, we work with that. I think I can get more out of it. I
that
think
was
it'd make a big difference.
the 4180s that came out during what was that, like 82 to 87? So Ford was using those.
Hold on a second, Jerry. 1 sec. Let me make this straight to anybody that's going to start with politics and whatnot on here. You will be ignored completely. So you can post all you want. You will be ignored. Hopefully that's clear. Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries. But yeah, the 4180s carbs, they were really I'll say a fuel efficient carburetor. They were kind of battling the emission stuff and all that was
Yep.
going on at the time. So that's when they started with the factory annular boosters. And they did very well.
The thing was you could interchange a lot of stuff with them, but
Yeah, the meter and blocks were specific. The base plates had the mixture screw. The mixture screws were in the base plates
and
on those.
basically,
A lot of things that, I don't know. From what I've seen, not a lot of people tune very well. The idle
well, a
speed
lot of
on them
people
is
don't
very,
know.
very small.
A
On
lot
that
of people don't know a lot about carburetors. Like you said, I was talking to a lady from Holly one afternoon with their return stuff. They said there's absolutely nothing wrong with those carburetors, but these people, they just put it on and think it's going to be perfect, or it might be air bleeds off, or every engine is different.
Yeah. Well, a big issue that I'm seeing probably over the last 3 years is replacement mechanical fuel pumps.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're advertised, 5 to 6 pounds of pressure, and people put them on. They put on a new carburetor, and they got fuel going everywhere, and automatically they want to blame the carburetor.
Yeah.
But these replacement mechanical pumps are pushing 10 pounds of pressure. And that's going to blow past any needle and seat.
Yeah. I just put an Earl's on mine.
Okay.
It works. No regulator works good, but boy, is it damn loud. I mean, it is loud. I got to wait till the intake. I got to do something with it because it's really annoying. Even with my stacks, it's ignoring. You could hear it's really loud.
Yeah.
But yeah, you learn something new. Like I learned last time I went. Actually, it's going to air tonight when I actually air it. We did a revival on a GMC. My one video, I actually went and brought it home, and I learned a lot. I was trying to stay out of the power valve. I'd try to stay around 10 inches of vacuum because I learned a long time ago. A vacuum gauge will tell you a lot, especially if you know the carburetor. And I was trying to keep it above 10 inches, and that I'd be dropping a gear. All of a sudden, I started just playing around with it. By accident, I wasn't paying attention. I got down to 1 inch of mercury in the gauge. That truck stayed in high gear. It didn't slow down at all on the steepest hills coming back. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you were to get to this other carburetor, we do this other carburetor, it's probably going to be even better yet. Maybe I won't have to get into the power valve or drop that low, but I got down to 1 inch of mercury and the thing just didn't stop. It stayed right like that. And I couldn't believe it. I'm trying to conserve gas, and all I was probably doing is making matters worse.
If the motor wants fuel, it's going to get it. If the carburetor can supply it.
But we're going to be going to, I'm surprised Brian's not on here. The Pike Steam Show we're going to next year, and that's 250 miles one way and back. And truck's going to be running a lot. So that's why I figure I'm going to do some baselines, and then I'm going to work on the intake, and we'll work on a carburetor, and we'll go back and forth on their channels together, talking about it and document it, and we'll see how much of a difference we can actually get. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do think with the setup that you're talking about, that 70-10 should work very well and achieve the goal that you're looking for as far as fuel mileage, but still having a little
I'm
top
shooting.
end if you want it.
I'm shooting for 15 is what I'm shooting for.
Okay. You know, and then there's a lot of tuning that can be done with that, where the tuning doesn't necessarily stop with jetting and boosters.
No.
You've already looked at the idle feed restriction, but you can also add transition restrictors in the main body that restrict the amount of fuel when you're getting into the transition before you're fully on the main jet.
Yeah, I've done that too. I drill them out
Uh,
and I put the little orifices in them.
yep. So
I
stuff like that is really where if you're looking to get dial in fuel mileage.
that's my big key. That and low end torque. He said the upper end horsepower, I can care less. The
Yep.
motor, 4,000, 4,500. I don't push it any harder than that. So it's everything below that. So we're not out there to burn bridges or win drag races with it.
Yeah.
It's
Looking to
economy
drive
and
it
torque is
around.
where we're at,
Yep.
And I figured that's why I figured talk to you and we'll go back and forth. And like I said, we'll document everything and we'll get it all out there so people see what's going on. But I'm shooting for 15 and I think it's doable. And another thing I noticed with that truck, I'll give you a quickie, and then if you want, maybe take us show us around a little bit and see what you got going on there, maybe. I noticed aerodynamics. People don't realize how huge it. Like, do you remember back in the day, people thought opening the tailgate in their pickup would give them better gas mileage? Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It actually made it worse. Because let me tell you, I was driving down the interstate one afternoon at 55, 60 mile an hour. All the windows were down, the back windows were open in the cab, and I happened to put up to adjust the mirror, and I felt air hitting the back of my hand. I'm like, I don't have air conditioning on. I'm like, the hell's going on? I put the side windows up and the air stopped. That vacuum, and if you get bugs on the windshield of that truck, they stay there forever. So your air is hitting the front of the truck. It's going right over the windshield. It's skimming the cab at the top, and it's coming right around and getting sucked. That's fuel economy, dude.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like much, but it is. So we're going to do one step at a time. And like, we're going to actually, I'm making a deflector with the air tabs for right behind the cab there, about an inch away from the cab to try to get rid of that. But we're going to try to do it one step at a time. So the stuff that you guys do and everything, we can document everything. You know what I mean? But I'm
Yeah. See
shooting
what
for
improvements
15.
you're making. What's
Mm-hmm.
actually making the improvement.
A lot of people have this older stuff and it might interest them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a couple guys that we have done similar things. Unity Motorsports was
Oh,
one of
yeah.
the
Andy.
gentlemen. Andy.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what mile per gallon he achieved, but he was running a tunnel ram in a pickup truck.
On
Um,
Casper. Actually, I found out
yeah,
about you guys.
Casper. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we set up a pair of 660s for him. He did a lot of the tuning and all, but we set him up with the machine work, annual boosters, transition restriction, and he had a lot of success with that. Just having the tunability with it, and again, he did a lot of the work on his own with getting it dialed in, and
Yeah.
he'd take it out for a ride and say, all right, I need, there's a little too much fuel here. I could take some away there, but I need a little more on the top end, something like that.
That's why I learned about the idle feed restrictions and stuff that he did. That's what I learned you guys were playing with that stuff. Because I had dual quads on my T-Bird at one time too. I don't
Okay.
anymore. I had that 700 you guys modified for me, but yeah, I forget, he's getting like 10 or 12 miles to a gallon that thing, I think.
Yeah, with the tunnel ram, I think it was 12. I think he was getting
Yeah.
up to 12.
But he knows his timing and stuff.
Yeah.
He knows, you know what I mean? That's what me too. Because I noticed that with his truck. I didn't realize when I went from one cylinder head, a big open chamber 97cc head to an 88, I set the timing up and did everything the same way. And it was weird. I plugged the vacuum advance into the bottom of the carburetor because that's how I run mine. So as soon as it starts, it advances it and it cleans up the idlet. The thing would run rougher than hell.
Yeah.
And I started doing some reading. Well, I was 10cc smaller in the chamber. It doesn't want that timing. I started backing it off. I went from 16 initial to 8 or 10 now. And that's what it likes. Said people, and a lot of times people will go on target a carburetor, but it's not the carburetor. Your timing could be off first.
Yeah. Yeah.
They call you and blame you guys. And did you check your timing? Well, what do you mean? Well, that's the way it works.
I do think there's oftentimes the carburetor becomes a scapegoat because a
Yep.
lot of times it's the last thing people put on the engine. So it's the first thing to blame.
Yep.
But again, that's part of the reason why we have the test motor here. Every carburetor before I ship it out, it gets run on a live motor. I adjust the mixture, set the idle speed, um, make sure that everything's all good there.
Hmm. But yeah, like I run down the road at 65. I'm going to 354s eventually in the ass end, but it's expensive. I think right now at 65, I'm turning 2,500. So
Okay.
it's better than before. It was I put it over one of those gear benders behind it at the C6. I love it. Them things are neat, really neat, but it helped a lot.
Nice.
Got a lot of new stuff. I've been working on that many years on my channel, but we're getting there. I said next year's gonna be camper pulling a race car, and hopefully we need this carburetor. And I got it sitting here. I've been staring at it for like a month. That's why I said maybe we get something set up or something. We can. Because you guys aren't even there on Friday, are you?
Yeah, we're here Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30
I'm
in
in
the morning.
Saturday.
Oh,
Saturday.
Saturday. Saturdays we're closed. It's usually a day that I'm able to catch up on all things that might have slipped through the cracks throughout the week. There's a lot of orders come through online, a lot of emails and stuff. So sometimes some things slip through the cracks, and I usually take the weekends to kind of catch up on all that.
Hmm. I said it'll probably be on my work schedule too. It'd be a Friday. We set that all up and everything. It'd be a Friday morning I come out. And if I
Okay.
have to, like I said, if it takes till the next morning or something, we'll just find somewhere to go. Crash out motel or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, we could talk about that and figure something
we'll
out
get
there.
something set up and then we can go from there. Hopefully, like I said, I'm nervous because that truck's going to basically be put back together. I still got to check to make sure my push rod length is perfect and everything. It's supposed to be, but I want to double check. We're going to pull all lifters out. Check because I have special lifters in that truck. I have hydraulic flat tappet lifters, but there's a
Okay.
groove down inside of them. They're Howards. They're actually self-lubricating lifters. They actually let oil run down around the outside of the lifter to lube the camshaft.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
That's
My
cool.
engine guy out here told me about them. I was like, they're like $200, but you don't rely on the splash. Remember how you had to have splash? Well,
Yep.
this is direct. It literally has like a 3,000th notch, maybe a 16th of an inch long down the one side of the lifter. And that's it. From it going up and down, that oil runs down and goes underneath and it lubes the cam. So we looked into some newer stuff, but we're still staying with a carburetor. We're not doing no fuel injection. I'll take my carburetors any day of the week, man.
Carburetors are nice because you can work on them. You don't
Yeah,
have to call some tech guy and
it's the
you know,
gasoline. It's the gas. It's horrible.
it is. It is. The with the ethanol fuel, it's about 45 days before it starts breaking down. So if it sits,
The funny
it's
part is this damn truck likes the 88 with the ethanol and better than it does 87. I don't understand why. I don't know if it's the compression ratios but it is what it is. As long as it runs and it doesn't leave me sit, it's all I care about.
yeah.
That we
Keep
built
going.
that because we wanted to have an icon for people to relate to something with the channel to make it stand
Okay.
out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a 1980. Like, how could you not notice it with stacks on it? It sticks out like a sore thumb, like no matter what. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, you got to see the attention I get. We pulling out a racetrack or something. You're like, yo, man, you got like the second oldest truck here. There you go. People are noticing, and that's what I want.
That's the point.
And if they try to steal it, they're never going to figure out how to start it. So,
Oh
so what you
boy.
guys got going on in the like now? Are you busy? Is it slowed down? Is
Yeah.
it
Yeah, so the summer times are really our busiest time. A lot of the marine motors are still carbureted, so we get a lot of boat work that comes in.
Oh, I
Um,
bet.
and the summer's when people are playing with their toys. It's when they find out that they sat all winter and something's not working properly on the carburetor.
Yeah.
Um, so this time of year, that the kind of rush of get everything done as soon as possible kind of slows down a little bit. And we got a lot of the restoration work for the '69 Camaros, the Corvettes. the guys doing frame off restorations that
Mhm.
they want the original dichromate finish and
Yep.
all the parts replated, and kind of the high end work of and very detailed stuff, to get that original
Mhm.
finish on everything. Yeah, and I was saying to Jim the other day that I feel like there's more 446 pack cars today than were ever produced. Like, the number of those 6 pack setups that we do the restorations for, I can't believe it. I think at the current moment I got 6 sets here of
Wow.
I think I got 5 440 and 1 340 set up here. Yeah,
That's amazing they take that CFM. That's a
yeah,
lot of CFM.
yeah.
You ever watch, Nick's Garage from up in
Um,
Canada?
no,
And he
I'm
does
not
that's what
familiar.
he does. He is the Dodge guy. Like, you can't even imagine. And he was showing the difference. That 6-pack setup is I don't know if could you actually guys dyno that too, or you can't dyno those?
Those we run them individually for testing.
Mhm.
I don't run them all three
But
together.
he they had a 440 there, and he was showing, he said on the street, they don't do it. But on a dyno, when you load them down, they bog every time.
Oh
But on
yeah.
the yep, on the street, they don't. But when you load them down to, what is it, 3-second intervals or whatever, they bog right out, and then they pick up. When those carburetors open,
Hmm.
they just bog. But he said on the street in the car, they won't do it. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, interesting. It's not something I've really seen
Mhm.
before. I guess most of the guys doing them are street driven setups.
He said they work
Um,
great on the street, but if you actually load them down on the dyno, with the engine dyno, as soon as the secondaries open, I call them secondaries. You know what I mean? They
yeah.
they they have that big bog, and they
Huh.
take off. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fuel in those carburetors.
13 was it 1340? Isn't it total? Two
500,
500s and a
500.
350.
Yeah, 1350 CFM.
Yeah, that's pretty stout. I mean, Dodge was it's amazing on a 340 they could make that happen, and they worked. I know a lot of those 340s did, and they run.
Yeah, I will say one of with having a vacuum, it's pretty much a vacuum secondary. It is a
Yeah,
little
they
more
are.
forgiving than say a mechanical setup. Even with it's a single 4 barrel carburetor, a vacuum secondary will be more forgiving if it's not properly set up or proper for the
Yeah.
motor. Just because it'll work off the airspeed. If the motor starts bogging down, airspeed's going to slow, and the secondaries will start closing. No
Hmm.
matter how far your primaries are open, it's all dependent on the airspeed moving through the motor.
Yep. I just noticed that too, and I had that 780 in the truck. Those 4 barrels almost wouldn't even open. The 600, it'll pull them things open right away.
Yeah, if it's not jetted
'Cause-
properly, if it's not set up, and
But
the
you have a
motor's
hole
not
this big,
running
and you
as
have
it
a
should.
hole this big, and you're trying to pull that signal for that secondary diaphragm, and it's totally, there's not even a comparison between the two.
Yep, and it is. I think the vacuum secondary carb is another thing that's often misunderstood because people hear vacuum and think it relates to engine vacuum.
Hmm. It
Um,
don't.
it, it's just the airspeed moving through the carburetor. Because every
Yep.
now and then I'll have someone I got a low vacuum and motor, and that my secondaries aren't opening because of that. And I
Yep.
got to tell them it's got nothing to do with you having a low vacuum motor. It just might not be the right carburetor
A
for you,
lot of
but
people don't realize too that the actual airflow carburetor works. Like one I have in the T-Bird, that's a 302. It runs a quarter in mid 13, which isn't fast, but it's on regular tires. It's 87 octane. It's absolutely nothing fancy, and I never have to fix it. I drive it, I bring it home, I take it out the next week. It's a bracket race. You don't have to go fast. But
no,
anyways, that thing I shift over 7,000 RPM every gear with that, and it loves that carburetor. But if you're driving down the highway at say 55 in fifth gear at like 1,500 RPM, if you floor that thing, it'll shut that motor right off because it's mechanical secondaries. It will literally take all of that. It will shut that motor right off at that because it's just too big. But for drag racing, it's beautiful. I mean, you couldn't ask for nothing better. But The low RPM, you're stalling that airflow, and it will shut the motor right off. I couldn't believe one day I did it by accident. I was like, wonder what this will do. And it just quit. People don't understand airflow the way things work. And like
Yeah.
you said, the smaller carburetor, there's nothing wrong with it on the street.
Which
There's not.
carburetor?
I have a 700 double pumper on a
Oh,
T-Bird.
okay, okay.
You guys that did that.
Yep.
You did down like boosters and that and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I remember. I think you did a video unboxing that one. If I remember
Yeah.
correctly, a couple
And
years ago.
the funny part with that one was I was running a little fat, and I said to my granddaughter, I say, we're just gonna choke the shit out of it. We're gonna start from there. I dropped down. I went from 82 in the back and 72 in the front. I dropped down to 78 in the back and 68 in the front, or no, 66 in the front. And you know that thing wouldn't even run around the pits.
Yeah.
Those I went back up. I went back up to it was 66 in the front. I went back up to 68, and it's perfect. I haven't touched it since. It works. There's no choke. People get amazed. I start that up. There's no choke or nothing on that now. I machined it up. It'll sit right up. First pump, sit there and idle. Like, it amazes them that it works that way.
And the tune in the carburetor is like little changes make a big difference. So I
They
think
do.
a lot of guys they'll have it open, and because it's open, they change 2 or 3 things.
No.
And then they got no idea what's working, what's not.
We used to race Pintos years ago in drag race, and we found that out. You do one change at a time because you can always go backwards. If
Yep.
you do 3, which one is the one that made it bad?
Yeah.
Fuel injection is different. That your computer makes a graph. You can go back and see what you did. You can't do that with a carburetor. Not if you change 3 or 4 things. Then what?
Yeah. You can't change jetting power valve and open up your idle field all at the same time. It'll never
Especially
work.
start drilling stuff. You can't put it back.
This is true. And that's where the expense of like a billet meter and block might come in handy, because those are all threaded restrictors where you can go bigger, go smaller, whatever size you want, and it's just a matter of like
I do
changing the
them in my
jet.
main bodies. I do that. I drill them out and put 8/32 in, and I put the plugs in, and I do it that way.
Yep.
It works. That's how the truck one was. It works.
Yeah. If it works, it works.
So how big is the place you guys got there?
This about 6,000 square feet. Probably about half of that is, maybe about a quarter of that's kind of the storage of parts. We stock a lot of carburetors, a lot of parts for them. We are direct with Holly, so as far as like the floats, the fuel bowls, all that stuff, where we're
I
buying a
know that
couple
stuff is
hundred at
super
a
cheap
time.
for you guys. Super cheap for you guys. Especially the gaskets are like really cheap for you guys. That I know.
Yeah, I think it's just because of the volume that we buy in. We're able to offer that on our website at a little bit of a better price, and it's not a packaged part because we are a bulk buyer. But all that stuff comes directly from Holly. And I like to keep stuff on the shelf. I'm terrified of running out of parts. So we just keep the shelves stocked.
Yep.
And a lot of it is, when someone calls and they're looking for a carburetor, I don't sell anything out of the box. Anything that I sell as far as a new carburetor is custom built. I put the boosters in the main body, the air bleeds, and then I build the meter and blocks. And everything that I have starts off raw. We build it completely.
That's awesome.
Just because then we're in control of the quality control, everything going into it. There's make sure everything's installed properly, because when you're building 500 or 1,000 carburetors at a time, however many they build, one or two probably squeaks through that a booster might be in crooked or the air bleed didn't get drilled, and
And you're a target. You're really a target because, like I said, your carburetor's messed up. Are you sure you checked your timing?
yep.
You're a target. Period.
Yep. So we do one at a time. Do every little piece gets assembled here. And that's the website was, when us selling parts was really a byproduct of how much we were stocking so we could build.
So you're
Or
in a good place. I bet you probably get a lot of your money, like you said, probably from your boats and stuff, because you guys are in a great place for that.
yeah, we do a lot of boats locally. We're on Long Island, New York, Long Island, New York. So there's a lot of local stuff. And a lot of people think that the marine carburetors and the automotive are, almost the same, but the calibrations in them for the way that the
Yeah.
boat motors run is completely different. So I get, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 a week that someone bought, a remanufactured marine carburetor online, and it's an automotive carburetor that's got holes plugged off and it's epoxied and it's just not anywhere near what it's supposed to be.
Hmm.
So a lot of times I end up having to build, a new replacement carburetor, or take one of the cores that I have here that's a genuine marine carburetor and build it.
I often wondered how much difference there actually was,
Yeah,
like
there's
the air bleeds, because I know they run more wide open. They're not up and down a lot. You get them up there and you go.
yeah, yeah. So there's that aspect of it, and then there's the importance of reliability on the low end. Just because when you're docking a boat or something, and you got to run it around 1200, and it's got to be smooth, because if it cuts out when you're coming into a dock,
You're in trouble,
yeah, it's no good for you, the boat, or anyone on the dock.
especially the people are really going to get upset.
Yep. But some of it's safety features, with the way that, if a needle and seat fails or a float goes bad, for the marine carburetors, everything's focused to go back down the throat of the carburetor and cut the motor
Hmm.
out.
Yeah, I've
Where
seen the way they set those up.
Yeah, where with the automotive stuff, it just comes out the top and then, it goes onto the ground.
Works everywhere. Hmm.
Yep. But in a boat, that'll fill up the bilge, and it's all enclosed inside the boat, and you get a little spark in there and no more boat.
Yeah, and by the time the guy actually finds out, yeah.
Yep. So the safety features are there, and then there is the calibration. That's as far as most times they have a little bit of a larger idle feed, smaller air bleed, and the power valves are a pretty low number most times,
Are they?
where they're closed because they're going to be cruising a lot.
I noticed that with this 7010 I have, the air bleeds in this thing are tiny. I heard that it's a lean carburetor. They weren't really popular, but my air bleeds are tiny in this thing.
Hmm.
Both of them, the high speed and the idle air bleeds are really, really small.
If I remember correctly, the 7010 is a reverse idle carburetor.
We got to change that.
Um, so the way that those were set up, it's a fixed amount of fuel, and by going in with the mixture screws, you're by going in, you're limiting the amount of air going into it.
Hmm.
Um, so if you seat the mixture screw, you're actually at the richest that you can get, where normally when you seat the mixture
Okay,
screw, you cut off all fuel.
I've dealt with them years ago, but I haven't seen one in a long time. That style carburetor.
Yep. So there's ways to fix that. Definitely something that we've done before. It's rerouting the entire idle circuit in the main body. But not a huge issue to do.
Well, if it works, I don't care which way it works. I'm just more familiar with the standard style.
Yep.
But I'm anxious to get that going. And the problem is April's going to be here like right now.
Yeah, it's the holiday season's coming up quick. We got Thanksgiving coming, and then Christmas, and then we're moving right into the new year.
And anybody's wondering, like with me, I know everything I've said to them guys, their turnaround time is pretty good.
Yeah, for our
I
regular
mean,
rebuilds, we try to keep it to a week
I
to
was just going to
week and
say,
a half.
you're not going to get back in 2 days, but a week is you're almost guaranteed. Unless that's what happened to me every time. So
Yeah,
that's acceptable.
And then there are times like in the summer and stuff where we will be a little bit overrun with work, but I let the customers know. 'Cause
Yeah, when I set my kid's carburetor, I don't think I talked to Jim, I think, and he told me, he said, dude, it's going to be a couple of weeks. We are really, really busy. And you know what? I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'd much rather tell someone it's going to be longer than and have it done sooner than me tell them it's going to be a week and then they call me in 2 weeks and say, why is it not done?
You're right. I know the feeling. Remember, anybody that likes what they see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and even a like or two if you want. You guys still have that YouTube channel. Do you do anything with yours?
I haven't been keeping up with it much. I think a year or two ago, Jim was doing a lot of work with it, getting some little tutorial videos put up. How to properly install the stone filters on some things, some throttle grommets, installing them on the carburetors. Um, we do a needle and seat repair. I believe you put a video up for that, for if you wanted to use your original fuel bowl and the threads are stripped out. We got a threaded brass piece that we machine the fuel bowl, thread it, and then thread in the brass piece. You can use an original needle and seat in there. And then just a lot of running carburetors was a lot of what we posted just because it looks cool. People like it. Seeing the fuel come out of the boosters, you put it in slow-mo. Excuse me.
YouTube is a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
It is. It is. It never made sense to me when people, I guess, they're getting jobs as like a social media manager or something. Never made sense to me until we started trying to do a YouTube channel and keep up with Facebook, and now I can understand why that's a full-time position for people.
Yeah. Yeah. Like tonight, Dennis was here long. He was Mike because they got. I know Mike. He just came back from North Carolina, I believe. He lives in Missouri, so
Okay.
he had a pretty big haul. I actually, because we're trying to get together. I'm in with the Pike Steam Show now out in Brownsville, and we're trying to get some of them guys to come in for a couple of days. And for him, that's like 700 miles.
Yeah, that's a bit of a trip.
But you're trying to get some people together, help because they have a lot of old steam. We call them steam shovels. They're not. They're cable shovels, the old stuff. They have a lot of old equipment. And they're trying to keep it going. It's nonprofit, so it takes it takes a lot of effort. It takes people to help, and so we're going to go out this year for probably a week. And I said I would help them advertise, and I don't know. It's going to be new. We're not even sure what we're going to be up against. We've been working with Brian Dean a lot, talking back and forth. He's one of the guys that has a lot to do with it out there. And he actually reached out to me one night in my videos. He's been coaching me on a lot of stuff with the videos that I didn't know. And every time I put a video up, he'd like messaging me or calling me, or you need to do this, or you need to do that different, or so. That's something we're looking forward to. We want to come out there to Long Island. We have that going on. It's going to be a busy summer, and then I have a regular job too. So I run tanker for a living. So and then you're trying to get projects done, and it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's editing and all that. But it's a way to keep busy, right?
Absolutely. There's a lot of things to keep you busy there.
So I guess we're going to wrap this up. I know you and I will touch base, before then, obviously. I was thinking maybe we do this once a month. We don't want to overdo it either. We don't want people to get tired of us. But
they might get tired of me pretty quick.
Me too. But once a month, I'm figuring maybe we'll shoot for something like that towards the end of the month, something like that.
Yeah, we could aim to do that.
Because what do we have? Thanksgiving's next or the end of the month. So maybe the second weekend of the next month or something. We'll do something.
Yes, I know. In December, I believe the dates are the 13th to the 14th. I'll be down in Indianapolis at the PRI show.
I've been wanting to do that. I just don't have the.
Yeah,
You guys take a lot of stuff to that.
We take a good sample of what we do. We bring some of the Barry Grant fuel pumps. We reseal those. Got a lot of parts for them. A couple restorations. You know, some old Carters, some old Rochesters, some of the Hollies. So we'll have a lot of that stuff down there. We'll be at booth 2010.
Oh,
Just displaying some of our work. You know, talk to people, let them know about a little bit about what we do here.
yeah. Sometimes you try to at least be able to pay for your trip and stuff, but a lot of it's just PR, talking to people, and that means a lot.
For me personally, I think I end up, you know, spending more money than I make down there, just because the amount of cool machinery and, you know, things that I can
Yeah.
improve on my processes here that they have there is phenomenal.
You see Bill from the Old Man's Garage. He's usually out there.
Yeah, I believe he was.
Billy the Kid's usually out there. Louis Tarrant, he goes out. He's the guy that does part of my engine stuff. I don't know if Andy Jensen goes out for that or not. I have to ask him. He lives right up the street from me here. Jensen
Okay.
Technologies. He has one of the fastest cars on the East Coast, turbo cars on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you ever met him or not, but yeah, Jensen Technology. He's literally he's 2 minutes up the street from me.
Okay.
So not that far away. But yeah, we want to get out there PRI at some point. Just there's just too much. They can only plan so much stuff in 1 year, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And next year's already booked. So all right, man. We're gonna
All right,
sign
Rick.
off here. Thanks everybody for watching. Remember, you want to see us again, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell and that hype thingy and likes and whatever else you got to hit on there. And we'll see you next time. Y'all have a good night. Night, Jared.
All right, Rick. Thanks for having me on.
Yep, bye.